Hi, this is the Right Focus where we bring you content related to studying. This is the third episode of the Mastering Study Skills series. If you haven't watched the first two episodes, you can watch them by using the link at the top right hand corner. Let's start now. Before we learn the study skills, techniques and strategies, we must first identify some habits and characteristics students must have. I'll be sharing a total of 8 characteristics a student needs to have. The 8 characteristics will be broken down into 4 videos as every characteristic will be shared in detail. Some people claim that they work at their best when there's a tight deadline, which is not really true. The deadline pressurizes you to start working and forge ahead. You struggle to get everything completed and have no choice but to focus on the pending tasks. You felt calm in the middle of the panic of that deadline as all other option has been removed. Meeting the deadline now grabs all of your attention. There isn't time to work on something else at the same time. It's the feeling of being entirely focused during that time that makes you productive and not the deadline itself. You do not bother about anything else. I do admit that while trying to finish the work, we still might be anxious and some of us might even panic. However, if we are fully concentrating on the task, we'll not think about other matter. You will just feel calm and zen. We spend so much of our lives thinking and living in anything, but not caring about our present moment. Here's what I mean. We dwell on bad decisions we made, plan on our future and dream about it. We also fear the possibilities and consequences of making a decision. Some people fear to talk in front of the public as they are scared of being mocked. Some students don't even think that they are capable of scoring in their exams. Such worry and indulging in reveries get us nowhere. So stop thinking and get started. Your aim is to reach a state where you're only interacting with your intention in the present moment. Wait, before you give up, I would like to tell you that it's absolutely possible. First, remove all distractions to get into the state of being calm, like meditating. Remove all unrelated stuff. Make your desk or workspace as neat as possible. Close the TV off your phone. Done? Great! The second issue to consider to achieve this state is your physical well-being. Are you eating brain foods or unhealthy snacks? Are you exercising or staying up late? All these factors that affect your brain matters greatly. Just take a look at heat map studies of brain activity after just 15 minutes of exercise compared to those who limp to their workspace in the morning. Your physical well-being is related to how your brain processes information. It makes your brain think clearly, enabling you to be significantly more alert while working, increasing your focus level. The third issue to consider is battling your stress. Stress is a natural state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. Stress can be a good thing, sometimes to some extent in that it can provide motivation or a sense of urgency. Stress may provoke you to get started, but too much stress will leave you stuttering, distracted, and unable to learn effectively. Being mindful of stress and what kind of stress affects you will allow you to defeat it and develop Zen-like calm. In later of this series, we'll talk more about attention management techniques. We need to master attention management and not worry about time management, as poor time management is often got to do with attention management. Battling stress is one of the hardest yet most profound things you can learn to do, and so something that not only affects your learning but also your living. But we will cover that in another video. In summary, the first characteristic a student needs to have is being calm. The second characteristic a student needs to have is balance. Attaining the balance is about fitting in the learning so you have times for the thing that truly matters. The older you get or deeper you get into your studies, the more chances are that everyday life is to get in the way. It can be overwhelming. Making time for studying or learning is winning half the battle. Feeling great about it is the other half. There are few ways in which approaches to productivity and learning are similar, not least in terms of building structures and scaffolding that enable you to juggle everything going on in your life without getting overwhelmed or forgetful. Scaffolding consists of the structures and systems that you need to have in place to engender good habits and to feel in control of your decision making. One of the most important things you can do to elevate stress is creating a good to-do list. It is essential for you to know what your options are and don't feel stressed by all of those nagging things. A great to-do list acts like a second brain. Well, it's much better than your actual brain, as once things are written down, it doesn't forget them. To change your habits and develop good routines that stick, you need to think about scaffolding again. Do you keep procrastinating? Well, scaffolding got to do with that. Curious to know what is the second brain and how it helps? Stay with me in this series. I will reveal it in another video. In the later part of this series, I will also be focusing on self-management techniques which are also related to procrastination. Another thing that is underbalanced is socializing. You don't need to cast aside the idea of socializing to have time to study and do well. In fact, there are academic studies that suggest socializing actually helps with retaining key information. How we strike a balance has a lot to do with where we put our attention and focus. One of the best ways to achieve a sense of balance is first not placing emphasis on certain things, then place great emphasis on it when necessary. You should only focus on what matters the most, and prioritization is an important skill for a balance. Now, let me ask you a question. Why do you study? Balance comes from purpose. I think it's important to identify why learning is important to you so that you can use that as a motivation to drive you forward. And having a purpose in mind and not just studying for the sake of your parents or someone else. Share with me in the comments below some of the reasons why you want to study. It's okay whatever your reason is. I would love to hear what you have in mind and your future plans. Thanks for watching. Do check out my other videos. See you soon.